Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for returning to the Agile podcast. I have with us today a very special guest, a professional Scrum trainer, a phenomenal person, someone that is really, focused on helping organizations deliver value through agency of Scrum. Our very good friend here, Sam Adesoga. So thank you very much for joining us. Please welcome Sam to the podcast.
Sam? Thank you, Timmy, for having me to the podcast today. And hello, everyone. Okay. Hopefully we have some fun.
Yes, that's the plan. Or like I always say, it's either we have fun or we break some eggs, or we have fun breaking eggs. I thought the two. So this podcast is actually a very interesting one. So interesting, Sam and I are quite unique in the way we think. When I say unique, I'll explain. You see what I mean? So sometime at about, let me look at the text, but at 2 a.m. I sent Sam a message because I was thinking about something. That's how we are, yeah? We're always looking at how we can help people improve what they do, help organizations, help teams, help people. So at 2 a.m. I asked a question. I said, can Scrum work in an organization broken into teams of specialists? That is, for example, a BA team, a testing team, a team of developers. Then I added this further context. I was like, an organization whose resource profile cannot support cross-functional teams. So I said, discuss. So that's actually what gave birth to today's podcast recording. We had a preliminary conversation. We just thought, a lot of people face these issues and it'd be good to actually nail it out in the podcast. So I'll ask that question again to Sam. Is it possible? Can it work? What can we do? How do we make it work?
Right. Thank you very much. And to complete your story, I replied at 5:34 a.m.
That is true.
No.
That is so true.
Right. So the question really here is, can Scrum work in an organization broken into teams of specialists?
Mm-hmm.
BA team, testing team of developers. And my response, quick mic drop response is no.
No.
Okay. However, I want to try and explain that a bit more. You see, Scrum as a framework is very good for solving complex problems with a lot of unknowns.
Yes.
Yeah. And the introduction of goals into the Scrum framework, I believe, was when it nailed it. Right? So imagine you've got a Scrum team and the team agrees to focus on a goal, say product goal, for instance, for the next 3 months. That is our focus. You now add to the mix silos. You haven't got a team that's got all the skills to deliver a working product.
Not a cross-functional team, yeah.
You are failed from day one, right? Okay. And you might not, the interesting thing is you might not even know what sort of skills you need as you start out.
Yeah, true.
Or you start where you are. What skills have you got? Pull that into a team. And as you hit the next impediment because you haven't got the skill set you need on the team, then you bring such people into the team. So fundamental for Scrum to be successful, cross-functional teams and self-managing teams.
Okay.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And in my experience, a team that isn't cross-functional will struggle to self-manage. And let's explore that a little bit.
Okay, yes. That's a really...
Self-management, as defined by the Scrum framework, is no one outside of the team tells the team how to get the work done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't want to be told how to get the work done, but you haven't got a team with all the skills that you require
to get the job done. Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just dead on arrival.
Okay.
So if you ask me, you want to practice Scrum as a framework, if you want to, then you would have a higher chance of success using the Scrum framework when you have a cross-functional team. That would be my take on that question.
Okay. So very interesting point. And thanks for that. Really good answer. So you see, when I was asking that question, there was something that came to my mind because I know within the Kanban method, as you can see in my Kanban shirt, thank you very much. Within the Kanban method, we talk about starting from where you are. So
Yes.
in my head, when I sent Sam that question, I was thinking, so if Kanban says start from where you are and gain agreement to improve, to evolve, to improve via evolution, right? I know with the Kanban method, we will say, even if you're a team of developers or business analysts or testers, we can start with that. And then as you evolve, when you hit the brick wall of we can't deliver value unless we're together, then you pull the people together. So my question to Sam was, okay, if we have that process within Kanban, what is the Scrum equivalent? Now I know, like, in our conversation, I think we alluded to the fact of, or I've said this before in one of the podcasts before, but Sam and I discussed it and we're like, that, there is what we call, let's say, ideal, what we want to achieve, and there's what we have existing on ground. And I've always said, Sam and I've always discussed, and I've said something quite regularly, which is a Scrum Master is a master of transitory states between what exists on ground and what we're trying to achieve. Imagine in my situation, I'm new to the game. Let's say there's a Scrum Master that listens to us right now, new to the game, or has always worked in a condition where they were in a cross-functional environment, moved into another organization where they're in functional teams. How does the Scrum Master start and say, what you're doing is wrong, it has to be this way, flip right away? Or the Scrum Master say, my fate is sealed. What will I do? What will the Scrum Master do to get things going?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great question. And I'm going to spend a few minutes to explain this, right? One of the stances of a Scrum Master is a coach, right? And as a coach, a Scrum Master should meet the team, the organization where they are at. You must understand that the current structure has probably served the organization for so many years.
That is actually a very powerful point.
Okay, and we need empathy. These guys are not dumb. Smart people decided for whatever reason to structure as they are. Okay, so what I will do, meet them where they are, start from where they are, meet them where they are at, I think is a principle for every single coach to have. Right? And what I would do is, so for instance, the team wants to adopt the Scrum framework. The first thing is to understand that one of the goals of Scrum is to deliver a working increment every single sprint. So I might run a session to say, what, guys, what can we do right now? Can we actually deliver a working increment, a done increment?
Yeah.
What is your definition of done? So you can facilitate a number of sessions to gather people in a room to reflect on where they are and honestly tell each other, make transparent, are we able to deliver a done increment? And if we are not, it might be okay. Yeah? I always see the Scrum framework as a map and a compass.
Wow.
It's a map.
Wait, hold on. Let's settle on that point. A map and a compass.
Yes.
Wow.
So for me, a map that shows you the entire terrain, what is possible. You might not be there. In fact, I have never joined an organization that had the Scrum framework adopted based on the way it was written when I joined. No. So we want to understand where you guys are. One, use the Scrum framework as a map. Where can we aspire to be? Now, with the use of a guide, a Scrum Master, use that as a compass. How might we navigate our way to that ideal state that allows us to deliver value?
You know what you just pointed is, and we discussed this some time ago, it just shows the power of the Scrum Master because some people assume all the Scrum Master does is to hold events or ceremonies. But what you're alluding to now, the Scrum Master can be instrumental in organizational design because Scrum
Should
Master
be.
can actually help the exactly should can actually
Yes.
help the organization evolve their design for
Yes.
optimum value delivery. That is
Absolutely.
powerful.
But for an organization to open themselves up to you, they must trust you,
Yes, yes.
right? You must show that you've got that capability to do that. So what do I do when I get an organization? First of all, find some quick wins. Yeah, quick wins. Are there any impediments that the team can resolve themselves? Get the team on your side, get the stakeholders on your side, and you can do anything. You can be anything you want to be in the organization.
You know, the funny thing is what you just said. I have a concept that I call it buying political will, which is what you said, because you get in there, you have these ideas. Why should they trust you? You're a stranger and they're paying you to do your work. When you then help the team win something and they see, oh, this guy actually knows his stuff, you then have a platform to speak and they would listen. Most likely, it might not change immediately, but the tide is starting to turn. So fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. Go on.
Absolutely. So back to where we are. So yes, you have a team of silos of specialists. What I would probably do on day one, after talking about the Scrum framework, getting to make transparent what the product is, the thing of done, have we got a good team? Run experiments. I don't want to touch every single product. Maybe pick one product, build a team of, cross-functional team and work with them to show that you can deliver value in this new model. Give the organization room to learn from that experiment, and then you can scale out more product teams or more Scrum teams on the same product. But start small. That's the way I would approach that.
That's fantastic. So that's like, I think I read one of those in the old days of when Scrum had the list of books to read for the exams. One of the books, I think, written by Ken, he talked about something called the Scrum Studio, where you have an organization, but in order to get them to think about adopting Scrum, you build a team, let the team deliver value, and then expose the ways of working to the organization. And they go, oh, actually, this team are able to deliver value doing this. We're okay to adopt, and then you start to spread the adoption.
Yes. So the Scrum Studio is actually a bit bigger than what I described, because it's been a long time I read this, but I think you also think about how do you finance the team, autonomy, empowered team, and you kind of isolate them in an incubator of some sort. But it is an experiment similar to what I described. But yeah, the Scrum Studio is an interesting model that organizations can use just to see, does Scrum really works for us? But then it is very important to learn from that experiment. In this context in particular, pull all the skills you need into one cohesive team. Empower them to deliver that product and see how it goes. And then they will try sprint in, sprint out, get some lessons learned, and then you can then scale that to other areas of the organization.
Wow. So that's my 2 a.m. question has been answered. Because, like I said, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking to myself that, wow, I had a quick, easy answer for this from Kanban. But you see, the thing is, not everyone knows to do this. So I was thinking about that Scrum Master that is stuck. Because like I discussed with Sam earlier, I'd been in an organization where towards the end of my contract, it was revealed to me that this was the problem that we were having. We had team members that were in 4 daily scrums because I'm an engineer, but I'm in that team 20%, that team 20%, that team 20%. And when I heard that, I was just thinking, oh my God, what did these guys do? And they were very framework agnostic. Not framework agnostic. They're very, don't tell us any new framework. We're doing Scrum. Don't mention anything else. So I couldn't even come in and say, oh, do this way. And they were already trying to say, how can we form teams? In fact, they already started to form teams. So these guys are talking about when multiple daily scrums per day. And I mean, the frustration levels were through the roof because you talk about and then when you now look at teams that are aligned, it then means when you have your sprint review on that day, that guy is in 4 sprint reviews. That's 4 hours at the very minimum.
Can I jump in, right? I think the examples you cite are some of the reasons why certain developers, professionals out there dislike Scrum.
Yes.
And I want to make it very clear. What you described there isn't the intent of Scrum, and that wasn't what it was designed to be. Again, let's think about this, right? Scrum was created for complex problems, solving complex problems. True complex problems, you cannot be in 4 teams. It's not possible. And in fact, there is data that we share in our classes that talks about when a singular person is in 5 projects, you are only about 20% effective. You lose 80% to context switch.
Yeah.
Right? So these examples with Scrum in the name, I think Scrum badly implemented,
yes,
has caused us so much hurt in the industry, right? That is not the intent. As much as possible, again, when I go onto client side, what I try to do, actually I had one in a very, very big bank in London. And what I told them was, you know what? I see all this 40%, 20% allocation. What I asked again was, give me one team to support and let's show you what can be done.
It's really good.
Right? Because I think the problem, again, when you trace that problem, it goes back to management and maybe their own managers, where you want to do everything. But the truth is, we cannot work on everything.
Yes.
I sat with a manager once to look at all their key initiatives and how long has it been running for. We had initiatives that were paused because the developer went on paternity leave and all that. So if we really, really want to build true agility in our organizations, these are some of the patterns that we have to, over time, pick up and start involving people, the whole team. How can we move away from this? How can we resolve them? Okay. Yeah.
I think it's really powerful. And I think if there's one thing I want us to get as we're listening to this podcast is, number one, like Sam rightly said, what that experience is not the intent of Scrum. That's 2, it's possible for someone to meet it. And then to create the change, what you then look at is, how can I get them to trust what I want to say? Because what you need to do is then run an experiment, most likely with a cross-functional team.
Absolutely.
That you can pull lessons from and the confidence to do the same. Because like Sam rightly said, you have to respect the fact that these guys aren't dumb. They've actually built the organization to this point. You've come in because they want to go higher.
Absolutely.
So you have to respect that fact and then say, okay, let's try this. Let's get some, like you said, some quick wins. Then that way they trust what you're saying. And then you give them a learning spot, an experimental team where you can pull all the resources or people required to deliver value, to deliver a potentially reusable increment. And then they can learn from them. And then it's easy. Because I think what a lot of Scrum Masters suffer from is when you talk without that backdrop, it sounds like it's theoretical. You have to understand that in different industries, their risk appetite varies. In some industries, they have very little risk appetite. Nothing can change without being crossed off in several sectors to go, it has to work. So, as you come with all the ideas, let's do this. You have to recognize the fact that what you're talking about is you're telling them, let's risk the organization on this one person's voice. That's why Sam's point is really powerful. Okay, so Sam, if you're going to leave now, obviously you are a professional Scrum trainer, so you have to tell us when your classes are, and then maybe obviously give us your links and all that. But before then, before you leave, right? If you're going to leave us with one thing to say, dear Scrum Master, hear ye, as you go tomorrow, ensure you don't forget this. What would it be?
Oh my God, I wish it was easy. Okay. So we talk a lot about complex problems, and I spent the better part of last year studying what complex problems are. And maybe I can give a one-liner explanation. So we talk about lots of unknowns.
Mm,
Nature or what makes complex problems peculiar is this. As you start solving that complex problem,
it
the
responds.
nature of the problem evolves as well.
Yeah.
And this is why you cannot go into an organization trying to help with a predictive model.
With best practices.
Yes, right? Because you're going to have to try something a short space of time, learn from that, and then try something else. If it's working, then you reinforce that thing. If it's not, you abort and try something else. And as a Scrum Master, if you bear that in mind always, then I'm hoping that you can make better decisions. So things like, oh no, you've got to have cross-functional teams, you will get yourself out the door very quickly. All right. That's the nature of the problem that we're trying to solve with the Scrum framework. All right. And I hope that helps. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Thank you very much, Sam. That was really powerful. And I thank you for the answers to the question. And thank you for responding at 5 a.m. Sorry, guys. You see, the thing about Sam and I, we're very particular about helping people in organizations and teams deliver value. So that's why we have all these. In fact, there's so many talks that we've had that actually could actually be a podcast episode, but we're always thinking about it. How do we solve these problems? Because in our experience, you've seen them in different shapes and formats. And we know that, it's when you get into an organization and you see the potential and you see what's stopping them, if I knock out this problem, they'll fly. And that's how we should just kind of do. So thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. It has been fantastic having you. I think, like I said, some of the things we've discussed, I think we should bring them back as podcast episodes.
We should. Actually, we should.
We discuss a lot, almost so regularly.
Absolutely, we should.
Regularly.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So Sam, how can my listeners get to know you? Where can they meet you? You're a professional Scrum trainer. I'm assuming you have some classes coming up very soon.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I actually got a lot of classes coming in. I think the best way to reach out is to go to valuehut.co, not .com, valuehut.co, and you see our class schedule. We've got a PSM class face-to-face in London, 2 Saturdays, fantastic. 11th and 18th of May in Chelmsford, actually Essex, not London. Yeah, but face-to-face in the UK in Chelmsford, 11th and the 18th. We've got a PSPO class coming up the 3rd and the 4th of May.
Okay.
I think I'll just leave those two with you guys.
Okay. Fantastic. So like you said, valuehut.co. And that's value, and then hut.co.
HUT, yes, Value Hut.
Check out Sam there. You'll find his courses there. And even if you're thinking, where else can I find him? Scrum.org, you can find him there as one of the trainers. And also you can find him on LinkedIn as well. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you, Timmy.
Have a fantastic day, you all. Thank you very much for joining today's podcast. And stay tuned to the Agile Matrix podcast for more interesting conversations, head-cracking questions, 2 a.m. text messages, all geared at bringing out the best in your Agile process and framework. So thank you very much today. Thank you for joining us today and have a fantastic evening and keep shining and shining brightly.